Good morning, students. Earlier we have done circulatory system in man. So today I'm going to discuss another life process in human beings and mammals that is called respiratory system. So first of all, let me explain what respiration is. We normally take the air inside our body and throw it out. That is simple process which is happening superficially. That is called breathing. Okay, that happens only in few organisms like animals only. No plant is breathing. Okay, what is respiration? That happens in all the organisms, even in plants. Breathing is a physical process while respiration is a biochemical process. Oxygen is necessary for the process of breathing, but respiration can happen even in the absence of oxygen. Respiration basically that's of three types. One is external respiration, internal or tissue level respiration, and cellular respiration. In external respiration, this is only physical exchange of oxygen of air and water and carbon dioxide of blood of circulatory system that happens. Internal or tissue respiration, exchange of oxygen and blood and carbon dioxide of cell at cellular level that happens. In cell respiration, this is a chemical process controlled by enzymes in which respiratory substrate. What is respiratory substrate? That is the food, glucose. That is oxidized inside the mitochondria and releases enormous amount of energy in the form of ATP. What is ATP? That is adenosine triphosphate. That is the form of energy we are having. In cellular respiration, there are two types. One is aerobic and another is anaerobic. In aerobic respiration, oxygen is necessary. That is that type of respiration which happens in the presence of oxygen. In this, it organic food that is oxidized with the help of oxygen to form carbon dioxide and water along with enormous amount of energy, which is almost 686 kilocalories, or this is 2870 kilojoules of energy per mole of glucose. That means that 1 mole of glucose, 1 mole of food that is in the presence of oxygen, that is oxidized or is burnt to produce carbon dioxide, 6 molecules of water, and 686 kilocalories or 2870 kilojoules of energy. That much amount is liberated in the aerobic form of respiration. Now, what happens in anaerobic respiration? This happens in the absence of oxygen. In this type of respiration, glucose is completely oxidized to carbon dioxide, ethyl alcohol, or organic food. That is, ethyl alcohol is ethanol or lactic acid. Very less energy is produced. Only mode of microorganisms, and this is called fermentation. Like in yeast, fermentation of sugars or fermentation of glucose happens to form two molecules of ethyl alcohol with two molecules of carbon dioxide and only 247 kilojoules of energy. See the difference of energy produced in aerobic respiration, that is 2870 kilojoules, and this is the total energy formed in the case of anaerobic respiration, that is only 247 kilojoules of energy. Then in bacteria and in our intestine, many worms are present over there. What happens there? This food is oxidized in the form to form this lactic acid and energy. So this anaerobic respiration is completed in two steps. Basically, one is glycolysis, and then second is what is glycolysis? When there is complete breakdown of glucose, that is called glycolysis. Another is incomplete breakdown of food, that is it is to form pyruvic acid. That means glucose in case of cytoplasm of cells that ends to form pyruvate in three basic forms. First is when in the absence of oxygen, that happens to form ethanol, carbon dioxide, and energy. In the second, in the muscle cell, lactic acid is formed and energy is formed. And another is cellular level. In case of aerobic respiration, it happens in mitochondria, and here carbon dioxide, water, and energy is reformed. So now comes to what are the differences between aerobic and anaerobic respiration. As I've earlier told you, aerobic respiration needs the presence of oxygen. That is one of the basic requirement. In the anaerobic, no oxygen is needed. This is non-toxic. to animals or or plants. That means not harmful. This is very toxic to higher plants and other organisms. This is common in all higher plants and animals. That is not common if it happens anaerobic respiration. That is a temporary phenomena. In this, enormous amount of energy is produced, or 38 ATP molecules are produced. In this, only two are produced. Basically, four are produced, two are consumed again. So, end product is only two are left with the plant, with the organism. That is, only two ATP molecules are formed in anaerobic respiration. Large amount of carbon dioxide and energy is produced. In this case, less amount of carbon dioxide and energy is produced. End products of aerobic respiration are carbon dioxide and water, while end products of anaerobic respirations are carbon dioxide and ethyl alcohol or lactic acid. This occurs in cytoplasm and mitochondria. This occurs only in cytoplasm. So there is one thing. Sometimes when we take vigorous exercises in our room where is less amount of oxygen is there. So what happens? We feel very fatigued. Why? You just see in our skeletal muscles, when they undergo anaerobic respiration or when we don't have that much of oxygen amount is available there, so glucose is metabolized into lactic acid. Rapid accumulation of lactic acid leads to fatigue and muscular pains. So now, what types of aerobic respirations are there? There are many types of respirations, aerobic respiration. First is cutaneous respiration. Cutaneous means the respiration which occurs through the surface of skin. That happens in case of many insects, annelids, or some sort of amphibians. What is amphibian? Which can live on land as well as in water. When it lives on land, it respires through the skin. That type of respiration is called cutaneous respiration. Okay. Then buccopharyngeal. What is buccopharynx? Is a part of digestive respiratory tract, and bucco means buccal cavity is your mouth cavity. When the organisms takes respiration, takes oxygen with the help of buccopharyngeal cavity. In case of frog and toad, that is called buccopharyngeal respiration. And in case of fishes, mollusks, and some sort of amphibians, when respiration takes place through gills, that is called branchial respiration. And in case of birds, mammals, man, reptiles, etc., respiration occurs through lungs. That is called pulmonary respiration. Now we will be doing respiratory system in man.